Hello everyone and welcome to the story of my life so far. My name is Charlotte Lindsay Taylor. I am 23 years of age and I live in a little village called Heysham. My story starts way back in 1997 when I was first born. I really hope you enjoy this video and my awful drawings to go with it. So my story started on Tuesday the 30th of December in 1997. I was delivered by a lady called Denise, so my mum says, and I was born at 7:16 in the morning. I weighed £8 and 2 ounce, everyone called me a chubby baby, and I was born at the Royal Lancaster Infirmary. So at the same time, my 1-year-old brother was in hospital on the children's ward suffering with pneumonia. It was a hard time for my mum and dad, but my brother survived fine and we're all well now. So my mum said the next major step in my life was when I was 8 months old and she wanted to get my ears pierced. She said my dad didn't come in the room with her because he didn't want to hear me crying, which apparently I didn't do too much of. And I still have my ears pierced to this day now, so all's well, and I guess my mum was right. So when I was 2 years and 1 month old, I started nursery at Bay Preschool. My mum said that I loved painting and drawing and making friends. So as you can see, this is a drawing of me painting on a canvas with lots of paints, and she said that I made loads of friends. One of the girls was called Holly. In the year 2002, I started school and I went to Westgate Primary School in Morecambe. My mum and dad said I was really excited for this next step in my life, and they said as long as you make friends, you'll be fine. I made lots of friends on my first day of school. One of them was called Lauren, who I believe I was friends right up until year 6 with. But I was also very scared on my first day. I didn't want to leave my mum and dad. I was scared about being on my own. But I made great friends, so that was good. In 2003, I started dancing. I joined Tracy Austin's School of Dance and I did ballet and tap. My mum and dad said that I really enjoyed ballet, and I also liked tap because my shoes made a really loud noise whenever I moved. It was now year 1, I was 6 years old and I started Beavers. My mum and dad said that I was really excited to join Beavers as I could do lots of fun things in the outdoors and the jumper was blue. I also started swimming lessons in year 1. I used to swim at Heysham High School swimming baths. My mum and dad said I used to absolutely love swimming. I used to get so excited. I used to swim with my older brother. He was also doing swimming lessons and I was always really jealous because he was in the higher class than me. In 2002, I had my first dance exams. I was so nervous as I was performing for an examiner. I received my first rosette for grade 1 ballet and tap and I was so happy. All the other girls were nervous and I got to wear ribbons on my ballet shoes and I was so excited about that. In 2002, I also performed my first dance show at the Dome in Morecambe, which is sadly no longer there. I was so excited to perform in front of hundreds of people and I was dancing with my good friend Amy, who I am still friends with to this day. It was such a great first show and I loved every minute of it. So another year went by and it was now year 3. I was 8 years old in 2006 and I started Cubs. The jumper was green, which I wasn't too happy about because I didn't like the colour green, but I was really excited for this next step. And all my previous friends from Beavers were also moving up to Cubs as well because we were the same age, so I was leaving with all my friends. In 2007, I was 9 years old and the scouting community was celebrating 100 years of scouting. So for this, we took a little camping trip to Littledale. And we camped there for 2 days. We did lots of activities like campfires, going on zip lines, a massive bouncy castle, and it was one of the best memories I've ever had, and I shared a tent with my good friend Chantal. So year 6 came and it was time for me to go on my school residential to the Isle of Man. I went over on a ferry with my good friends Amy and Lauren, and we had such a good time. My mum and dad were very tearful as we were leaving, but we did so many fun activities while we were there, like rock climbing, sailing, kayaking, canoeing, and we played manhunt in the dark and we put face paint on our faces, and it was really fun. In year 6, it was time for me to leave Cubs and start Scouts. I was excited. It was a long shirt and not just a jumper. I felt quite important because I had to wear a shirt. Anyway, again, I was leaving with all my friends from Cubs and we started Scouts together, and everyone there was so lovely, and I learnt about astronomy and how to put up the flag. So it was now 2009 when I started high school. I went to Morecambe Community High School and my brother went there, so I wasn't too nervous. I at least knew him if I got lost, which I did do. And I was leaving with a couple of friends from primary school, so I at least knew people and I was excited to make new friends. So year 8, I started my first job as a paper girl. I had this job for quite a long time. I was quite proud of myself, but I was up at the crack of dawn to deliver papers to everyone who needed them, and the old people on my paper round were so friendly. In 2012, I was 14 years old and I did the Three Peaks walk with my friend Holly. We raised £200 each for St John's Hospice, and I remember after the first walk, we sat by the lake on the docks and we ate a full tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream cookie dough, and it was great. So this one was a really important step in my life. I was 15 years old and it was 2013, and I found out that I was going to be a big sister. At the age of 15, it was really hard to comprehend that I was going to be an older sister, but I was so excited. I remember when my mum and dad told me, I broke down in tears because I was so happy. I then started my very first proper job, I'd say, at Morrison's. I was so excited because I was starting with 2 of my friends from school, and I met a really nice girl called Samantha. In 2014, my little brother was born. He's called Greg, and I remember when my mum went into labour, it was the middle of the night. Scott came to wake me up and we sat in bed and ate donuts and then did our paper rounds and went through to the hospital to meet Greg. My mum and dad said if it was a boy, Scott can hold him first. If it was a girl, it was me. So Scott held Greg first. So GCSE results day came and I was with my best friend Kimberly at the time, and I was so nervous, but then I opened my envelope to see I had an A, 3 Bs and 4 Cs, and I was so happy. So after the GCSE results, it was time for my next step in life. I decided I wanted to go to university, and the next choice for me was sixth form. I joined at Morecambe Community Sixth Form, where I went to high school, and I was with all my friends, so I wasn't nervous at all. I also passed my driving test in 2016, and I was so happy because I was able to buy a car and drive myself. So in that year, I also took a flight to Poland with my friend Jess with a company called the Holocaust Educational Trust. We learnt about the things that happened at Auschwitz and Camp Birkenau, and then took that back to our school in the form of a PowerPoint presentation and raised money to create a memorial at school to raise awareness of the Holocaust. So it was my second year of sixth form and I discovered my love for film and video. I took film, media, food tech and drama at A-level, and I absolutely loved film. My film teacher was really cool. She let us do pretty much whatever we wanted, and we got to create our own films, and it was really fun. So in the summer of 2016, we took a holiday to Malia. There was me, Jess, Becca, Emily and Matthew, and we all had a really good time. I remember I was the oldest, so I had to organise all the plane flights and everything, but we went to the travel agent and it was really easy. So we got back off a holiday of a lifetime, and it was A-level results day. I remember feeling very nervous as my future lied within this envelope of results. However, I was so happy to find out that I got 2 Bs and a C, and I had been accepted to my first choice university. So it was time for me to leave home and start the next chapter of my life at university. I studied film and television production at Edge Hill, and that was a university in Ormskirk, which was a little town outside of Liverpool. I wasn't too far away from home, so I wasn't too bothered, but I knew I'd miss home. Then again, I was so excited for what the future had to hold. So once my mum and dad had left me, I was all on my own and it was time to make new friends, which I absolutely love doing. I was sharing a halls with 6 people and they were all really lovely. Shortly after that, I became very ill and ended up in Southport Hospital with an appendicitis. I was miles away from home, I was scared, so my mum and dad came to see me the 2 days that I was in there. So I returned back to uni after 2 weeks of being at home and being looked after by my mum and dad, and I just didn't know what to do anymore. I wasn't happy where I was at university and I just really needed help. So I stayed at university for 1.5 years and then I went on a holiday with my auntie Deborah to Gran Canaria. It was a really fun trip. We went for 4 nights and I got really bad sunburn. I should have worn more sun cream really. So after returning back from holiday with my auntie, I decided that uni was not for me and decided that I would take my travels down to Essex in London, where I would hopefully find a career and a job. So I came across a little pub restaurant called the Foresters Arms in a town called Loughton, which was in Essex. So I applied for a job there as a barmaid and I got the job and I was so excited and I loved it there. So I made quite a few friends down in London. I met my good friend Chaz, as we called her, but she was called Charlie. She was like a big sister to me down there. We went out all the time together and she was like a shoulder to cry on when I missed home. The boss was called David, he was lovely, and Lucy and Dan, who were the landlord and landlady of the pub. However, being in London, it was such a far away from home and I really missed home. And I missed being in Liverpool, so I decided I would travel back to Liverpool and find a job there. So I stumbled across a little hotel called 62 Castle Street, which is sadly no longer there, but I started my job as a hotel receptionist and the manager was called Mandy and she was really lovely. So with the hotel only being 20 bedrooms, there was very limited staff that worked there and we were all like a little family. I never felt more at home being there. Mandy was the mum, Michael was the big brother, Leah was the big sister. I will honestly love these guys forever. So we did lots of things together, me and the work team, and we went to the Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool one night and it was a free show. We didn't pay a thing to watch the show and all of a sudden John Bishop walked in and we all got to meet John Bishop and it was such an amazing experience to say that we'd seen this amazing comedian for free. So I remember one day I was at work and my brother Scott texted me saying, "Congratulations, you're going to be an auntie," which was absolutely amazing. I could not believe it when I read the message and I was so happy for my brother and I was even more excited to be an auntie. So with this amazing news, I decided I wanted to be there for my older brother. So I took a trip back from Liverpool to Heysham and said farewell to all my friends at the hotel. So I moved back home to Heysham, my home village, and I was so excited to be back at home with my mum, dad and my little brother Greg. Scott had moved out at this point, but he was only round the corner from us, so it wasn't too bad, and I was just so excited to be home. So now that I was back at home, it was time to job hunt again. I went onto the NHS Jobs website because I've always had a passion for helping people, and I just had a look to see what was on there. After having an interview for a patient advisor role at Bay Medical Group, I received a call to say that I had got the job and I was so excited for this new chapter of my life. I was a medical receptionist and I was so excited. So because I'd done really well for myself since being back home, my mum and dad were so proud of me. My dad gave me one of his favourite cars, which was a Renault Megane convertible, and I thought I had a cool car because the roof came down. So my job gave me a lot of opportunities. I did a medical terminology course for 4 weeks over Zoom due to the current pandemic, but I passed that and I was so pleased with myself. After completing the medical terminology course, I was then promoted to urgent care admin. I was so excited because I was still able to do my original job as well as answering the phone to the ambulance team, rapid response and dealing with 111 reports. So after the bad year that we've had, I wanted to do something for myself. So I came across Camp Leaders, applied, I'd had my interview and I've been accepted. And this is me now. I'm 23 and I'm off to America in summer and I couldn't be happier.